Hey guys, how's it going? Shay from That Student Life. Now, as you may or may not know, I have recently spent a fair bit of time in Europe. I am half Irish, I'm an Irish citizen, so I have plenty of family in Ireland and the UK and actually Spain as well. And also, I just went to Italy, Austria and Prague as well as the countries I previously mentioned with one of my friends who was Italian. So we had a nice 5-6 weeks over in Europe doing lots of stuff, a lot of local, family orientated type stuff, but also a lot of tourist stuff as well. And I think there's just a few things I picked up, or a few things I also were told, that I think all students should keep in mind when they are traveling. Just a couple of things that'll save you time, save you money, save you hassle. So let's go through the top things that all students should know when they're going to travel Europe. Okay guys, so tip number one. Now students, obviously we want to save money because we're usually not strapped for cash. So what did we do in terms of trying to save money? We made a few mistakes, we also did a couple of good things. Now, first thing we did was we bought our flights through a student discount type travel agency. So they did give us a discount because we were enrolled in university, and obviously we were under 30, so that was fine. So we got fairly cheap flights return to Europe, but other than that, if you're not a student or you want to also check out another website that is quite good, Skyscanner, I'll repeat that, Skyscanner, they check just about every travel agency, every travel website, every airline in the world for where you want to go from to where you want to go to. And this is not a sponsorship, but they just have seemingly really cheap flights. So that's one thing to look at. But other than that, I would say, especially if you're going to Europe, if you're going to be flying like between different parts of Europe, say you want to fly from London to Dublin in Ireland, or you want to go from Rome over to Vienna in Austria or something like that, I would say book those flights as early as you possibly can. Don't leave it until 3 or 4 days before. We left some transport from Venice to Prague until like 2 days before, and ended up costing us probably a little bit more than it probably should have, and like the other stuff did. So I would say if you're going to be traveling around different parts of Europe, whether that be flights or big long train rides, like things that are actually overnight or a fair few hours of a flight, try and get that at least a few weeks in advance, because things like EasyJet and Ryanair, which fly just about everywhere in Europe, if you can get in a little bit early, you can fly for an absolutely ridiculously cheap price. Like, I mean, for example, from Dublin to London, I think I paid something like 25 euros or 20 euros to get there and 20 euros back. And that's just absolutely mind-blowing for me as an Australian. So for students, that's important. So I would say all your big trips, use good cheap websites that compare everything. Don't go on the airline's website, and go to the cheapest ones you can find, and make sure you do it semi-early because that will reduce the cost. Okay guys, so tip number two. Now this is important for all students because again, we can't have this happening if you don't have that much money on you, and it's just not great. So security in Europe. There's some places, some cities which are a little bit of a haven for thieves and that sort of stuff. So in particular you've got like Paris, Rome, a little bit of London as well. Other places I felt pretty safe, and look, I felt very safe in those places anyway. But you do have to be, kind of on the ball a little bit, especially in very public places like city squares, packed trains and all that sort of stuff. So basically, everybody should get like a little satchel that goes around, your shoulder, around your back, and kind of is a Ziploc, and you can put your passport and your wallet and all that sort of stuff, but keep it under your jacket. Second idea would be, if you have a big jacket, if it has a pocket which is zipped on the inside, have one of those. You do not want any valuables on the outside of your body at all. Not in your pockets, in your jeans, not in your back pockets, not in your hand or anything like that. I mean, it just is worthwhile, because if you lose a passport or you lose your money or you lose your bank card, it's a hassle, it's expensive, it's annoying, and it's really easy to just sort it out, have it on the inside, and you'll be sweet. Okay guys, tip number three. Now this has got to do with hostels. So again, students, not much money, probably going to want to stay in hostels. Some are awesome, some aren't so good. So how do you pick the good ones? Now we had a particularly awesome hostel in Prague. We were there for New Year's and a few days after. And our room of 8 to 10 people were just amazing. Americans, British people, all that sort of stuff. Aussies as well for us. And yeah, we all got on really well, and it was just a massive social event. And we made some really good friends that hopefully I'll know for many years to come. Okay, so how do we find a good one? We looked on TripAdvisor, on Booking.com, looked at all the reviews, and also it tells you what nationalities of people are staying there when you want to stay there. And we just read all the reviews, saw what people thought was good about the hostel, saw if it matched what we wanted to do. Like, we wanted a really social hostel that was pretty good quality and good value for money, and that actually was going to do stuff socially and take us around the city. And we got that in Prague because we obviously looked at the reviews and then booked it and then went there, and it was great. So I would say just make sure you match the Hostel reviews to your preferences and you'll be sweet. Okay guys, so tip number 4 is in terms of currency. Now obviously in Europe you're going to be splitting between different currencies. Like Italy was euros, and then like Prague was its own national currency, and then England has pounds, and then Ireland has euros and all that sort of stuff. So we were changing a lot. What we did was we got a thing called a cash passport. So it runs through TravelX, which is for Australians, but I'm sure there's an equivalent for Americans and all that sort of stuff. But basically, what it does is this online platform where you put in your money from home when before you leave, and then online you can swap all that to other currencies with like minimal charges instantly. You can get it out at any like ATM around the world. You can tap it and go and pay insert at any card facility, FPOS or any restaurant or anything like that. Anywhere that'll take card, it'll work. So basically it's just the easiest way to do it. And then if you come home with extra money, you can just go and get it off at your local TravelX agency and get it out in Australian dollars or send it to another bank account. So it's really easy, and you can also get help if you ever have any issues with your bank, and you can instantly transfer with a $5 fee from your bank account if you run out of money. So we did that. It was really handy and just works. So I would say a cash passport or some sort of card which allows you to put money on at home and then instantly transfer it across different currencies with minimal fees and get it out and use it like a regular Visa card or a MasterCard at home. So worth it. I definitely recommend it. So for Australians, cash passport, which is through TravelX, and you can get through your own bank, and the Commonwealth Bank was Jonathan's, and Newcastle Permanent was mine, and they both had their own version of it. So it was really good, thoroughly worthwhile. Okay guys, my final tip would be to, as well as going to the main touristy parts, getting those Instagram snaps, all that sort of stuff, venture off a couple of streets and go for a walk in all the cities you go to beyond where all the tourist main hubs are. Go and see what it's like for people who actually live there, all those quiet streets, a couple of neighbourhoods across, all that sort of stuff, because it'll give you a more authentic feel of what an actual city is like. For example, in Rome, we were with some local Romans when we were staying there. Very fortunate to have my friend who was Italian, so we had lots of family to stay with, and we ate at restaurants where barely anyone spoke any English. The food was cheaper, it was more authentic, it was amazing and traditional and just high quality, and we got to see how they actually live when they're from Rome, you know what I mean? So we did the touristy stuff, of course, but we also went off the beaten track and just saw what it was like through the eyes of a local, and it was an amazing experience to do both, so I highly recommend wherever you go, just do what the tourists do, but also do what the locals do, and you'll have a great time. Alright guys, that about wraps it up. They are my top 5 tips for any students who are going to be travelling Europe pretty soon. It's something that I highly recommend everybody does. It'll open your eyes, it'll give you great memories, and the uni holidays are pretty long, 3 months for some people, so don't sit on the couch, make the most of that, get a job, save up, go and do something on your break, enjoy yourself, and then get back to studying nice and hard. So yeah, look, I had a great trip. Hopefully you guys have a great trip if you do make use of these tips. But yeah, see you in the next video. Thanks always for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. See ya.